to the league 8 years ago, we weren't accepting credit cards for payment for event registrations. And the system had the capability to do that. It's just internally, we didn't have somebody with that kind of tech brain, I guess, to be able to read it and understand what was happening. So I was able to get with authorize.net, who could connect so that we could start taking those credit card payments. I'd love to try to figure things out and the best way to do it. And, efficiency is always, my number one priority, because why are we taking so much staff time to do something? Because there has to be a better way to do it.
Sometimes if you don't know what you don't know, so you were new to the association world, you didn't have any history or baggage about how things should be done. And so you're like, well, let's just see what it can do. Right?
That moment when you're looking at it and you're realizing you're doing all these paper registrations and checks, and you're like, does our software has this feature? And you look around, does anybody know why we're not using it? No? Okay, I'm going to turn this on for us.
Because I just have a different way of looking at things and asking the why and trying to look at the goal and how we're going to get there a little bit better than what we're doing now.
Well,
do you have any colleagues?
I know that from working with you on the Breezio side, you ran a very tight ship, tighter than we even run sometimes in our implementation. You did such a nice job with that. And I want to talk more about that, but one of the kind of catalyst moments, because you and I talk somewhat regularly, is you were talking about an event that you guys held.
So it was at our annual conference that we hold for our membership. We did a breakout session and we called it Bubble Live. So our Breezio platform's name and branding is called Bubble. So it's all get in the bubble, like the conversation bubble. So we did a breakout session that was Bubble Live, so that the people in the room could ask any questions of any of the topic areas that we have within Bubble, and then also get a little education from it as far as what you can do in there, how to use it, all of that. It was an information session. I was on my computer and I kept getting all of the join notifications. My email was blowing up with join notifications. So that just made my heart, happy, and I was smiling of getting all that, traction. So it really was a good event for the education for people that were already on the platform that might not have used it as much, and then for new membership to come on. We did see an increase of around 20 people, which is good for us. And then our discussions, we've had about 80 discussions new on the Bubble platform since that event that was in early August. So it's definitely helped tremendously as far as getting people adopting the platform. And that's the number one thing our members want, is networking, be it in person or be it virtually through the Breezio platform. So that was number one for us. I would probably say our current AMS internally with staff. So meaning we went from what I like to say is a glorified Excel spreadsheet. So that was our previous AMS. It was literally just data entry and you couldn't do much with it. Our staff isn't super tech savvy. So my current one, they're still adopting, if that makes sense, within staff. So I'm having the challenge of I've built it and I've thought through all the scenarios and the business process and all of that, and trying to get staff to actually start using the more robust features.
Do the needs of your credit unions change or evolve as the economy evolves under our feet?
Okay, so I guess we do service the credit unions that are around the state. Our biggest difference in our organization is the asset sizes of the credit unions, because a small credit union needs something different than a large credit union. So us as a trade association, we're trying to meld the difference between helping the tiny credit union and helping the big credit union and being something to each of them so that they see the value in our organization. In regards to their changing needs, I think the needs from us as an association has definitely gotten more on that networking focus, because externally so much is changing. So they need to be able to network as everything is evolving so quickly, especially in the economy, regulations, laws, everything that kind of governs them. They need to be able to have those resources so they can ask the questions, policies, the procedures, the what are you doing for this scenario? And that's where we as a trade association come in. We have to be able to connect them together where they can find the value and get the answers that they're looking for. So definitely. that
Originally met was that you have a small staff with some enterprise systems, and not every sub 20 staff association that I've worked with can pull off using the systems that you have as well as you do. Like, where have you found efficiencies to be able to create the time to manage an enterprise tech stack with a small staff, right? Are there like...
So I do think it's just being very diligent with our time and time management. I have a lot of roles here, as Ben knows. That is the day-to-day, making sure data entry, clear data in our AMS. But she is tasked with kind of making sure it's clean in there, and is the first point person for like the people that can't get into our system, like password resets and questions with event registrations, things like that, she handles. And I can focus on if a field's not working correctly, I can go in the system and I can update the look and feel of the system as our staff needs kind of change. So it's just having those clear roles between myself and my staff person, and then making sure that we get it done on our to-do list.
They have someone on her team that is dedicated on data integrity.
I love it.
So I wanted to make sure that we had clean data coming in from the old system. So we cleaned it first, and that there is gatekeepers, meaning there's only myself and my staff member that has access to create new records, because I don't want the entire staff of 12 to be able to create new people or organizations.
See, that's where a small staff, you can get away with that, right? Because there's only 12 of you, and you can say it's a department of 2, so the 2 of us will take care of it.
Yes.
So
So set up administrative contacts at our credit unions so they can log in and manage their own employee list and keep that up to date. But for those credit unions that aren't quite there yet of logging in, when our membership dues go out and we get their payment in, we send them the list in our database and say, we want to make sure you get the most out of your membership. Can you review this list and send us any changes? So the emergence of AI, I think, is something that has been very interesting. I recently used it to erase someone out of an image, which was very difficult because Photoshop was not working for me. And I was scrolling Instagram one day and there was an ad for a new AI that was free. And I was like, absolutely, I needed this right now. So it's one of those things, like the crazy things that you can do right now with the ChatGPT, and trying to use that if I have writer's block on trying to write an article for the organization, being able to kind of have that starting point. So there's tons of things, I think, even in the last 6 months that I didn't think I'd be using.
What else are you doing, I mean, besides writer's block or removing people from images? What are the applications of artificial intelligence that you're looking at or your staff's using right now?
I really want to dive into the AI of Microsoft Power BI to be able to do the workflows. So I have a lot of workflows that I've been needing to set up and just not having the time, but I need to be able to get in there. And I saw the article and the how-to of using the AI of the Power BI, but I haven't had the time to sit down to actually use it. So that's kind of on my to-do list in the next few months.
So how are you balancing adding new things, maintaining what you have, and then getting rid of things that are no longer serving you? It
And that
sounds
was
like
one of the things that I had to hand it off to the advocacy team because I didn't have the capacity to do it. And I told them I'll step in for any technical conversations. Like if you need any help on the tech side, something that you don't understand there, I'm your girl, right? But it's trying to find that balance of I'm finding the new tech and trying to do the new things, but I may not always have the capacity to do it from start to finish.
Is that
And
under
that's
your
fun-
education part of your
Yeah,
title?
I was just gonna say, your communication and education, but you're the tech resource
Right.
there.
I'm a lot of things.
Yeah.
A whole lot. I kind of have technology.
It's really hard though, because all of us here have worked with associations of all sizes. I am guilty of like hoarding things. I'm a yes man. I want to make my staff happy. I want to make all the associations we work with happy, and then I have too much and my team has like pry it out of my hands. Having someone that can tinker and then take that to the house is rare.
You're giving me a task, you give me the deadline, because then I can prioritize kind of where it fits in. And then I've been getting very good at telling people, where do you want my energy? Where do you see it? So we
love
have
Reggie said this on the podcast with us, and I've heard a lot of leaders reinforce this, that meeting your members where they are is so important right now, because our inbox.
and then he's also making it a point to travel our state and meet all of our credit unions in their local areas as well, to really get us forward thinking and to kind of see what connections we can leverage. Like I was talking about on taking some things off my plate, he has some connections of people that can help us with our small staff. So
I always think it's interesting we talk about meeting members where they are and how associations or different groups continue to do that. It sounds like your new CEO is going around and meeting people, and that's a fantastic way to do it. But what are some other ways to make sure that you're keeping up with the needs of your members that you're taking on?
So I really just think it's listening and acting. So we have to listen to what our members are wanting out of us in order to continue to get their dues dollars. So I was telling our CEO Juan earlier this week, and I said, I never want them to question why they pay their dues. It should be, you get your dues invoice and we pay it because we get so much out of the organization. So I think at this stage, we really need to have our ears open, taking those notes, listening, and then being able to actually act on them as well. It's twofold. You can't just listen and not do anything. You have to listen and you have to act and move forward.
I'm ready for you.